On the southern section of the front, the enemy is actively amassing forces and preparing for new assaults, with special attention being paid to the main strike group in areas that could change the situation in the combat zone. This was reported by the press service of the Ukrainian Defense Forces, as well as representatives of the armed forces of Ukraine's command, who are observing increased activity by Russian troops and intensified assault preparations against Ukrainian defenders.
And for more details, see our report. You are on the Glavrid channel, and I am your host, Yevhen Serov. Please like and subscribe to the channel.
The main focus at the moment remains the Yuliapol direction, where the situation is extremely tense. The city and its surroundings are still in the so-called gray zone, where fighting is taking place literally for every house, every street, and every block. According to official reports, in just the past 24 hours, more than 30 combat clashes have been recorded in this direction, including fierce street fighting in Yuliapol itself and attacks in nearby settlements such as Varvarivka, Zelene, and Zheleznodorozhne. The spokesperson for the Southern Defense Forces, Vladislav Voloshin, notes that the Russians are not limiting themselves to just artillery shelling and airstrikes. They are concentrating significant forces on the front lines, forming assault groups that could potentially be used in attempts to break through the defenses in the direction of Orikhiv. It is precisely in this strategic sector that the enemy is trying to amass a significant grouping of personnel and equipment, which may indicate preparations for a new assault operation against Ukrainian defensive positions. According to intelligence data, reinforced enemy formations are also being observed in the area of the settlement of Bilohirya, located between Yuliapol and Orikhiv. It is this sector that the Russian command views as a potential point for launching another round of active operations aimed at breaking through Ukrainian defenses and deepening their penetration into the defensive front. In addition to concentrating forces on the front line, the enemy is intensively shelling settlements along the line of contact, particularly Orikhiv, Kamishuvaka, and Verkhnyaya Tersa. In the past 24 hours, more than 24 shelling incidents have been recorded, as a result of which, according to preliminary information, both the defenders' positions and the civilian population in Ukrainian-controlled territory have suffered. This is not an isolated incident, but part of a series of intensifying offensive actions by Russian forces in the southern direction, as confirmed by Western military analysts. The buildup of enemy forces indicates their intention to use the tactic of massive attacks, combining aviation, artillery, infantry, and strike drones in order to exhaust air defense systems, weaken the defenses, and achieve tactical gains. At the same time, Ukrainian defenders are not passively holding the line in defense. Ukraine's defense forces are strengthening coordination between different branches of the military, actively using intelligence data and delivering counterstrikes against concentrations of enemy personnel, equipment, and artillery positions, aiming to prevent a large-scale breakthrough of the defenses. These countermeasures include targeted artillery and airstrikes on enemy positions, the destruction of their equipment, and the demoralization of enemy personnel. Ukrainian official sources emphasize that despite the concentration of enemy forces and the intensity of the pressure, the armed forces of Ukraine continue to hold key positions and repel the enemy's attempts to improve their tactical situation through massive assaults. President Zelensky and the leadership of the General Staff have repeatedly noted that strengthening defenses, thorough reconnaissance, and adapting tactics make it possible to effectively counter the enemy's attempts to change the course of hostilities. The situation remains extremely tense, and experts warn that the coming days could prove decisive for the southern section of the front.